Yeah. Unknown Brain, Marvin Divine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends, commentators.
Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Peter Burke. I'm an apprentice assessor. Today I'm going to give you some guidance and advice on DQM and how not to achieve a bad score. And we're also going to touch on some issues surrounding the 214 e-buses, which is currently affecting our garage RAG performance. We're also going to look at ways to improve our driving efficiency. For example, getting some of those drivers who are currently in the red into green. With that being said, let's get started. So, when it comes to avoiding an adverse DQM score, there are 5 key factors to keep in mind. Number 1, anticipation. Number 2, use of speed. Number 3, use of mirror checks and internal mirrors. Number 4, one-handed steering. And lastly, number 5, moving off safely. So, number 1, anticipation. DQM assessors will always focus on whether or not drivers are complying with amber and red signals. That being said, if you're approaching a long green light, please be prepared to brake, as there's a big chance the lights could change to amber and red. This will count as a box 3 or box 4. Number 2, use of speed. DQM assessors will always focus on whether or not drivers are adhering to the speed limit. They will also consider whether your speed is appropriate for the road conditions or your surroundings. So it's important to be mindful that the speed limit is the absolute maximum, and it's not always safe to drive at these speeds. With that being said, you can also risk the safety of yourself and of others, face an on-the-spot fine and pick up some penalty points, or even go to court where you could be disqualified from driving. Number 3, use of mirrors and internal mirrors. DQM assessors will always focus on whether or not drivers are regularly making those near side mirror checks, especially when serving stops and passing cyclists. So, it's important that the internal mirrors are set correctly for the purpose of avoiding any unnecessary risks or injury to our passengers, and that in any situation you must have a full view of any vulnerable passengers who may be alighting the bus or preparing to sit down.
I wanna see you when I wake up. When I wake up, you're so pretty even with no makeup. With no makeup, girl, I for real don't want no fake love. Want no fake love. I don't want no smoke, don't want no vapor. Want no vapor. Shawty shady, got no license, got me crazy. If my wife.
So, number 4, one-handed steering. DQM assessors will always focus on whether or not drivers are driving their buses with both hands on the steering wheel, and will often regard prolonged or persistent one-handed steering a compromise on safety. So with that being said, having a correct seating adjustment and steering hold will allow a driver to take effective evasive action should an unexpected event occur. So also be mindful that having your arm rested on the driver's windowsill is also an example of unacceptable practice. Any other method of steering that compromises control, such as palm steering, is also unacceptable.
I wanna see you when I wake up.
So now we're getting to the end of the video, and as you've just seen on the screen, number 5, moving off safely. Or shall I elaborate and say, gimme 5. DQM assessors will always focus on whether or not drivers are considering the needs of vulnerable passengers, such as the young or the elderly. So please consider the needs of the vulnerable passengers and give them an extra 5 seconds to sit down. So, electric buses are the future, and here at NP, we're going to be at the forefront of bus technology in the UK and in Europe. Thing is, instead of driving these vehicles smoothly and respecting their increased acceleration power, many of you are driving these SEEs like a normal bus. But they're not. The telematics scores are showing that nearly all the drivers who are in the red for harsh acceleration are driving SEE electric vehicle. So with that being said, you're driving an electric vehicle, so feed the power in gently. Think of your passengers. It's not a go-kart, it's a bus. If you're pulling away, setting off the acceleration light, you're pulling away too fast and giving an uncomfortable ride. So that's it everyone, we've come to the end of the video. I hope you found it informative, but just one last tip from me to all my colleagues out there, stay safe.